let me join the Ghanaian people and stand on this same platform again to also again apologize to the good people of Ghana for the unfortunate spectacle that they witnessed on Thursday evening or night. It was unfortunate. Honorable members of parliament mustn't be seen in that dishonorable manner. We should not be setting bad example for people, young people, to, as it were, learn from those bad examples. And we all join unanimously in condemning that act, and that it could have been avoided if we had exercised a bit of restraint. That said, we need to correct some few misrepresentation of what had happened. And I'm just happy that some people allege that my senior brother and friend, Roxanne Echet, the Fiamako, had his balls squeezed. He had denied that. The author or the person that story is attributed to has also denied that.
Oh, because he said he didn't say that.
I was even the first person. When I saw it, I sent it to our platform, AXA.
Okay, whether he said
replied that, look, this has been misinterpreted. What I said was totally different from what I have been
What did he say he said?
He says that, look, under the circumstances, people moving from chairs, anyone could have been attacked. People going under chairs, and I mean, it was a general statement. And someone just linked it to the fact that, Bizdidin and then Raleigh saga, where it's reported that Bizdidin had reported that his boss was excused by former President Rawlings. Yeah. But I mean, that is not true. I mean, the incident has also made people, without restraint, use certain invectives on members of parliament. I mean, like I just said, my uncle Pratt calling them like schoolboys and all those sort of. And we have invited this upon ourselves, but much as we invite.
Doc, please. I'm not saying that what happened there looked like schoolboys because balls were squeezed.
Right. No, I agree. I get it.
The conduct we are seeing now on the screen.
Yeah. So I mean, I get that.
Portrays the people involved, members of parliament.
I agree.
Like little schoolboys in a dining hall.
Yes.
Fighting.
So what I'm saying is that the conduct.
Please. He is attributing something to
No. This is what I said. So let me hear.
Why does he apologize?
No. This is what I said.
Why does he apologize?
I said that the conduct of the members of parliament is making people to then spew invectives on us. Okay. Like people describe them as schoolboys, not the squeezing or the so-called squeezing of balls. So I'm making it clear that the conduct has given people the opportunity to at least say certain things and describe it in a manner they wouldn't have. Or they shouldn't have. Okay, that's the point I'm making. I'm not relating it to any of these.
Because it wasn't an attack.
It wasn't an attack. It wasn't an attack.
It's like they blamed themselves for giving the public.
You misunderstood. I'm not saying that it's an attack. Okay. I'm saying that something is being attributed to me, which I haven't said. Okay. And I have a right to do that.
And that wasn't what actually I said. So I've just clarified so that
please go ahead.
So that is it. And one would seem that even if members of parliament were wrong, we condemn the wrong. We condemn it. And just like the respect that we are expected to exude, that respect is equally expected from the general public to accord, not the personality, but the institution of parliament, that respect that when we are even trying to condemn that act, we are a bit minded that we don't, leaders are always ridicule and all those things, but we don't subject the same institution to much more ridicule. The role of the speaker, or the 20 of our standing order specified clearly. He has his constitutional backing from Article 95, the head of the institution of Parliament. He is expected to protect the honor and dignity of Parliament. Whatever he does, he is supposed to act impartially and moderate the affairs of the House to its logical conclusion, ensuring that we fulfill Article 93 of the 1992 Constitution, i.e. the legislative power, the right to make laws and to have oversight and to make sure that we put in regulation to govern our country. That is the work of the Speaker. If the institution of Parliament is brought into disrepute, if someone casts a slur or there is a dent, there's a scar, that is going to be left on the conscience of the institution of Parliament. The Speaker has the moral right, he has the legal right to come to aid to prevent that or to take remedial measures to forestall any future occurrences of same. What the Speaker did was in that spirit and putting the action within that whole spectrum, within that context. You say that the Speaker was acting with the greatest of respect, with the I'm careful with the word I'm going to use, but he was acting out of good faith.
Okay.
That whole action by the Speaker trying to suspend people, trying to bring the respect, trying to listen to what the Ghanaian people feel about them, he was acting in good faith. But in the exercise of good faith, the Speaker had overstepped his boundaries. And we need to get that clear, that as much as we commend the Speaker's decision to make sure that he brings back the honor and dignity, and that parliamentarians are expected to Ghanaians hold parliamentarians in high esteem, and we have to replicate that. With the Speaker not seeing that, is bound to, it's a source of concern. But in the exercise of that nature, you exercise in good faith, he had overstepped. Because come to think of it, that the member of Parliament for Wale Wale, the people have elected, goes to Parliament, for one reason or other, I get myself in dishonorable conduct. The Speaker decided to say that, look, you are being expelled from Parliament. You are basically making nonsense of the mandate the people had given you, and the Speaker has the right to then determine who becomes member of Parliament or not, depending on your conduct. Because a member can be expelled from the House based on our standing order, but there are processes. And that's why one would have expected that the Speaker, after setting up the committee, would have at least exercised restraint, allowed the committee to carry out his work, and then the recommendation of the committee is going to be decided. Even the decision of who to go out is not by the Speaker, it's by Parliament. They say the House will decide. So that debate in the House would have to necessarily or naturally come on. Again, you don't exert punishment that is far in excess of even what your laws have stated. So even in your anger, if you were exerting punishment, make sure that it is not in excess of what your statute or your rule says. So if your rule under Order 129 speaks about dishonorable conduct, and Order 130 tells you for the first time offense, how many days you should be suspended. Second time, how many days you should be suspended. The Speaker goes to give people 2 weeks. That is far in excess of what the rule says. So putting that together, one would not understand. And we come to talk of Afenyo-Market. Look, Afenyo-Market tried to reach out to the majority. Let's handle this thing as a group. You had discussion with Honorable Ayerga. He tried his possible best. But he's not the spokesperson for the majority. So when you see Afenyo-Market speaking about the minority members who were involved, it is not because he thinks that the rise of Roxanne Daffy-Amako, need not be pursued. His rise were equally important, but he cannot speak for a man who has not given you the power of attorney to speak for him. So that's the only reason why you don't see in the statement talking about the favor. But probably they were okay with the sanction. Okay. The minority members of Parliament weren't okay with the sanction. So his statement was not to the fact that he was concerned only about the minority, but he had made he has extended the olive branch to them. But they were not ready to join in that crusade, probably because, they feel like what was done was proper. So I think that at the end of the day, the leadership engaged, and I'll come back to why we're clerk in black. The leadership engaged. They met up with the Speaker, the Speaker said, well, this is what I think, my understanding of this I needed to do. Minority Leader made it clear that, yes, what you have also done is in excess of the powers you so have. We can have our disagreement, but Parliament has a way of dealing with its own issues. First and foremost, the members involved will have to show remorse because that act was unintended. The members expressed their remorse, which was conveyed by the leader to Mr. Speaker. The Speaker had to also give us something, and that was why he lifted the suspension of the members. And you found something he said on the floor, which was rather unfortunate, that everyone is remorseful. If there's anyone who is not remorseful here, get up. You see, that comment, I'm sure it was on a lighter note. If he meant it, it's unfortunate because, look, I did not do anything. I did not join in I was not even there. How do you expect me to say that, but that fact that some people have committed an act which is wrong, which you are punishing them, I should take the responsibility and be remorseful for it? And if I'm not remorseful for the punishment, as if the punishment was directed at all the whole membership of the minority. The punishment was not directed to the whole membership of the minority. It was in respect of some 4 people. To extend it to say that whosoever is not remorseful, rise up. It's a threat. And while an institution is governed by laws, you don't expect that the Speaker would be, he's our father. He has been there. He's seen it all. We are just burdened. We are trying to form our teeth in the institution called Parliament. He's been there. But when some of these things are done, it's as if the institution of Parliament is not governed by rules anymore. It's governed by strongmen. And that is the only point of concern in this whole issue about the mediation and the outcome of that particular mediation. Look, deliberate disruption of parliamentary business shouldn't be allowed. But deliberate perpetuation of impunity by populous majority because they think so much that the Ghanaian people have given them that mandate should not also be tolerated. Because, as I said, oversight across all jurisdictions is done, especially so when we have a hybrid democracy, where the legislative arm of government found themselves serving in the executive. Oversight will have to be done by the minority. And when you slip, the Ghanaian people will not blame the majority members. In fact, cool heads and people with nationalistic or patriotic perspective will blame everyone. But people would blame the minority for allowing things go the way they go because they feel like you have to have an eagle eye, you have to be on the alert, you have to at all times be, your promptness level should be top-notch, right? So when we push and the majority feel like they can railroad their way through this process, the only way is for us to say, well, Ghanaian people, you give the country to the NDC. Whatever happens to the country, you so decided. So we are watching, folding our hands and looking at them to do their work. That will also mean that impunity will be enhanced, illegality will continue, people will deliberately abuse the power, the mandate, the overwhelming mandate that people have given to them, and make the lives of Ghanaians miserable. And we have the responsibility of protecting, and the Speaker has the responsibility of protecting the minority members to do this. So, for instance, if you find us disagreeing, the only way is walk out. The other way is to vote. We all know that if you are going to vote on any matter, with the polarized nature of our democracy, with the bipolar, if you like, stance we have, there's no way the MPP minority or the minority so-called would carry the day in any business of the House. So what we can do is to run to the Supreme Court all the time. And you know what this means? The Supreme Court will now be doing the work of Parliament. The court will now be doing the work of, because every single matter will have to go and place an injunction, or we have to go for interpretation. That will stall the business of the House, and that will mean that Parliament is now being undertaken by the court, And court is now determining why, because we feel that the only way our rights and the right of Ghanaian people could be protected is to go to the court.